Hey, welcome back, Guardians. Okay, so here I am in the middle of a Vanguard operation. Now, earlier I did a video about the just checking in and basically admitting that I'm not feeling burnout so much as I am just not feeling it. Just not. I don't. It's not really burnout because I have a desire to play this game. Destiny's a really fun and pretty game to play. It's just that there are many little things in the game and it's all really about the community more than anything else. I've thought a lot about this over the last couple of years of me playing, and it really comes down to that my my impression of the game is all about who I end up playing with in the game. Um, I don't really feel that I can say that it's crossplay that started it all, although there is a coincidence, a really strong case to be made to the fact that my attitude towards the game started to become a little bit more critical and a little less patient once crossplay became part of the scenario. Um, I know that there is a lot of competition in this game, and it's deeply rooted in the whole culture of the game. Whether you're competing with your friends to get certain loot, or you're just competing for kills in an activity like this. Um, like presently, I'm still doing the eight bounty challenge for Bright Dust. I mean, what else am I going to fucking do, right? I don't feel the value in pursuing any of the seasonal content because it's just not really making me feel powerful, Um, and that's the reason why I started playing Destiny. Is like, I mean, otherwise, if I wanted to just play a nitty gritty shooter, I could have just stayed in Killzone um, on PlayStation, or I could have gone to Call of Duty when that came around to my interests. But I wanted to play a high adventure exploration, kind of game. I was hoping that Destiny would have the uh, the deep lore that Halo had. I mean, even Oni, as rudimentary of an experience as that was, had more story going on in it. And don't get me wrong. I mean, over the years, the Destiny lore has evolved and expanded to the point where now there's actually, for new players, there's a lot to explore. There's a lot to discover. But it comes back to the situation that for the older, more experienced players, we are encountering fatigue in this game. That's really what it is. It's not burnout because most of us are still binging and grinding this game just like we always have. But we're becoming fatigued with the same retreaded plot lines and loot and activity mechanics, and it's not so much needing to have something better or more challenging. It's just something different, a way to dress up the game a bit more, maybe put a little bit more, rouge on it. And I know I'm talking about cosmetics, literal cosmetics, but that's really kind of become the end game. And it was a joke back in early Destiny 1 that the true end game of Destiny was its cosmetics, collecting all the emblems and shaders and ornaments, and it's like, I don't, I don't necessarily disagree with that because, I mean, what am I doing right now? I'm spending my end game, as you would say, um, quite literally chasing, cosmetics currency, bright dust. And honestly, I don't even need to do that. If I wanted to, I could just as easily, just spend the money on the silver and buy all the shit that I'm, interested in. But, it's a challenge, which is what gameplay is. Gaming is player chosen difficulty challenges and stuff like that. That's a game theory conversation, basically. Um, I don't know. Like I said, it's not really the game itself that's putting me off. Apart from the fact that some things are account driven and some things are character driven. It's not even about uh, the length of time that each activity takes, although that's a factor in it when you, I mean, it's kind of like this. It's like you go to a restaurant and you're going to have pie, okay? And it's your favorite pie that you like. You've been eating this kind of pie pretty much all your life. You know, it's made for you by all the people you care about. You have a lot of emotional, nostalgic connections to this pie. And this restaurant has been told to you by friends and people you trust that this is that pie. You know, you found the pie because everybody who used to make that pie for you is no longer a part of your life anymore for whatever reasons. Well, they died. They died. Okay, let's be honest. They died. Yes, I'm being specific because this is actually an experience I had. So you go to this, not with pie, by the way. I'm using pie as a to protect the names of reputations of the innocent. Um, so I go to get this pie. And I sit down. And before I sit down, you know, I'm with my family, my wife and our kids, and I'm super excited about this experience. I'm thinking this is going to be something I can share with them that they're going to enjoy. And the first thing that we encounter is a very inattentive host. They are just, you know, this is more or less pre-cell phone too, by the way, before cell phones became such an ubiquitous accessory for people. But they were like going through scheduling or whatever it was, doing some paperwork, and you know, I walked up to the desk, and they actually made me stand there a full 30 seconds before even just raising their eyes to look at me and acknowledge my presence. And I was like, you know, I'd like a table for, you know, my family. And they're like, "Ugh, okay." And I was like, wow, all right. Sorry to interrupt you. I'm sure that what you're doing there is so much more important than actually making money for your business. We finally get seated, and our server is just a genuinely sweet person, just the best, you know. So I was like, okay, this is a trade off here. We got really crappy seating service, but we've got a really great server, and I mean, yeah, just the most attentive, most, you know, generous, and probably was very much aware of the fact that I made a very physical and visible and obvious reaction to the host, you know, being disrupted by my customer needs. Um, and I'm going to interject right now. I've never been a big fan of the customer is always right, because you know what? The customer is sometimes really fucking wrong, and a lot of times the customer is completely up their fucking own entitled ass. But regardless of whether the customer is right, wrong, entitled, or patient and considerate, the customer always comes first, no matter what kind of a customer that is. Whether they think they're right and they're completely wrong, they will come first. You will resolve that customer need that moment. You will not put them off. You will not put them on hold. You will not you may even delegate. You can even delegate, but still address that customer's presence and acknowledge their existence and recognize that. I mean, because you can take a really hostile and aggressive customer who is completely in the wrong and actually guide them into seeing the right of the situation just by being an ally, just by standing next to them and saying, yeah, this customer has a situation and we'd like to get it resolved. Just by showing some kind of, you know, human interest in the fact that, you know, you recognize them as having a need and obviously a point of confusion, and then very, very carefully, and it takes a lot of careful diplomacy in this regard. I'm, I'm a customer service person, believe it or not. Um, and it just, you can turn them to see, you know, where the error was made and to be polite and to be accepting of it. And then, you know, even if they are not right, even if they were wrong from the beginning, still go ahead. I mean, what does it cost you to make an ally of your business just by showing them that, hey, even though you were in the wrong, because, you know, everybody here was mature and considerate and polite, I'm going to go ahead and still float you a bonus, a benefit of some kind, you know, just to say I appreciate the fact that you were willing to listen to reason and, you know, be a mature individual and not, you know, basically blow shit out of proportion just because your vanity got challenged. In any case, the point being, so we had a pretty okay server experience, but then the pie came, and it looked and it smelled and it was everything that, you know, all of our trusted friends and family said it was, topically, physically, but the taste was not right. there was just something underlying that was just not correct. But I didn't want to like completely, you know, fail the situation. And Destiny's like that now. Destiny's like that now. It's like, you come to the game with the expectation that you are going to be playing in a fantasy sci-fi game with special powers, force powers, if you will. I'm not much of a Star Wars fan anymore. Um, Honestly, the only two movies that I ever really back, I kind of really, I got into the Ewoks because originally as a point of sarcasm, but I can instantly see the sellout that Lucasfilm was doing with the Ewoks. Cutesy characters, but a lot of kids attached themselves to the Jawas because they were, well, kid-sized. Plus, they were made cute little noises and they looked funny. And then in The Empire Strikes Back, there wasn't anything like that. Empire was a very adult film, and I loved that. It was all the space drama and opera that I had come to Star Wars for in The New Hope, and the space magic wasn't as much of a forefront. Force powers and stuff like that were there, but they were like, it was a tool to drive the plot forward. It was not the plot itself. Luke Skywalker's journey journey through to becoming a Jedi. He never became a full Jedi until Return of the Jedi, supposedly. And even then, he was still, admittedly inexperienced. It wasn't until he fulfilled his father's destiny of bringing balance to the Force by eliminating both the Jedi and the Sith. Because effectively he did. He was a dark Jedi. He used Force choke on a Gamorrean guard that wasn't even being hostile. It was just, barring his entrance, and he Force choked them, which is a Sith power. So, talk about that in the canon. But in any case, so what was I getting into? Oh yeah, so the Ewoks. I got behind the whole idea of the Ewoks. I thought that was cute. I really got into the father versus son duel, and at the end, Anakin, of course, seeing the error of his ways and realizing that the life of his son was far more important to him than any loyalty or duty he had to the Emperor, or any sense that the Jedi had wronged him and that all Jedi were evil in his eyes. And it just, yeah, and then like I said, I came to Destiny because I was like, oh, cool, this is kind of neat. This is a post-cataclysm setting, which is kind of fun. Not quite the zombie apocalypse or anything like that. No, Destiny hit at a time where the survival theme was just basically spiraling down into the classic, post-nuclear war, post-zombie apocalypse or mid-zombie apocalypse kind of shit. It wasn't anything like that. Even though technically our Guardians are resurrected dead, we could also be considered in many ways to be zombies, just because, the way that our players, the way the players mindlessly just grind through content at the command of necromancers, basically, who are themselves zombies. It's kind of weird. They're liches, really, when you think about it. We're liches, and our phylactery is our ghost. If you destroy our ghost, that's it. We're fucked. So yeah, we're liches, really. And there you go. We're back to the whole space wizards kind of theme, and I like that. I like that a lot, and Destiny 1 really drove that in, and then Destiny 2 took that all away, and I was like excited for this. I was like, holy fuck, we're going to play Guardians, but without the light. How are we going to get through this? And a half hour later, we have our powers back, and I'm like, that was almost like nothing. That was almost worthless. It's kind of like that hero who does the grand sacrifice to save the team, and then the team still gets murdered at the end because that was their destiny to be sacrificed as well. It's like, why did the hero make the sacrifice if all it was going to do was end up in everybody's demise anyway, or some kind of subverted reality? But yeah, so this all comes down to the trying to wrap this around the point of the video's title. This all comes down to the game space of psychology, the psychology in the game space, your perception of the game. Like right now, I'm not paying attention at all to my two fire team members. I am pretty damn certain they've got everything well under control, except for the fact that, yes, I did go out and resurrect a couple of them. And I have no problem with that. I really don't. I mean, it's the Vanguard off. It's basically the low impact gaming, and that's what I go to video gaming for. I go to video gaming for low impact gaming experiences. I don't really want to be thinking too much about what I'm doing, because if I want a cerebral game experience, I'm not going to be on a video game, honestly. I'm going to be, playing a tabletop RPG or a tabletop skirmish combat game. I'm going to be, playing strategy games, against either a living opponent, a group of opponents, or doing a solo adventure like with Iron Sword and stuff. If I want to spend all my time thinking about what I'm doing, and solving puzzles, I go to the tabletop. If I just want to fuck off and blow the faces off of aliens and bad guys, then that's what I'm doing. That's what Destiny was supposed to be for me. And for a long time it was. The raids were not overly complicated. You could solve them in just about any way that you wanted to. I mean, there were groups out there. The pre-Destiny 2 LFG community was pretty darn caustic. If you didn't have this specific loadout or these specific abilities, you were not accepted. And there have been times even I was booted from groups, because I'll go through the first few encounters, and then we'll get to the one where it's like everyone's really got to get their timing right, and I don't have a particular weapon the Gallahorn, basically. I didn't have the Gallahorn, and they're like, "Wait, you don't have a Gallahorn?" I was like, "No, I haven't earned it yet," and poot, I was out. I was like, "Really? At the Templar, you're going to go ahead and bump me? You're going to boot my ass out at the Templar?" But fortunately, I had the checkpoint. So I just had to wait, a few days to get my friends together, because they all had, different schedules of jobs and stuff, and finally got the Vault of Glass completed on that run. But the point is that the raids in Destiny weren't fiddly. Destiny 1 weren't so fiddly. When the Leviathan raid showed up in Destiny 2, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be exciting." And within about 2 encounters, I was like, "No, I'm not." And the loot I got was so shit. I mean, really garbage. And I'm like, I understand why you don't want to give a player the best stuff right off the bat, because then they'll be like, "Well, I don't need to play anymore." Because I'm there at that point right now. I've got the best I can get out of the activities that I play. I really don't need to do it. I'm playing this game because I want to, because I'm having fun with it. And, I'm chasing small goals and objectives here and there. Just basic kind of, stuff, And honestly, things that I could very easily just spend some cash on and get what I want out of it. And that's really kind of the point I'm trying to make, is that when I was feeling fatigued earlier today, so when I was commenting about, that I'm just kind of done with everything, and it comes down to the community. Everybody in this game is just so dwelling on themselves and not really thinking about what it is. I mean, Destiny is not a solo player game. You really do want to play this game with people that you can talk with and coordinate with. You need to play this game with friends, or at least, some compatriots who are on the same page as you and have more or less the same understandings that you have. Because, I mean, everybody approaches the game a little bit differently. That's, the usual battle cry of your mileage will vary. Not may, it will vary. It's because, just because I go for the big guys, okay? I have a different target priority list than everybody else that I play with on a regular basis. And with the exception of 5 close, gaming buddies that I've had since Destiny 1. And these 5 people form the core of the clan that I'm in. In fact, the 3 of the 5 of us are the ones who founded the clan that I'm in, the Gunfu Monks, on the principles that, we set forward through gameplay in Destiny 1, which is, we're here to share our expertise and not our egos. We're not here to carry you, but we will res you when as soon as it's feasible. If you're going to take a risk, make sure you do not risk everybody else in the team. And that's really the kind of just general politeness that you could probably have in any kind of a group type game, but not everybody plays that way, and that formula does not work for everybody either. I've been in groups where I said, "Hey, how about we try it this way?" And we tried it that way, and some of the people in the group were just like, "I just can't get on that." If I don't res, I don't res. If you took a risk and you got murdered, I'm sorry, I'm not putting my character there to to resurrect you, or I'm going to focus on just killing all the little red bars, and I'm not going to worry about doing work on the boss. I'm here for ad clear, that kind of thing, and there's nothing wrong with that. But not having that information beforehand, not knowing that that's the play, or not being able to see that pattern emerge in play, that's where you start having the friction points that end up, resulting in a feel bad moment, or what the game designers call a quit moment. And after playing a few, grindy matches of Crucible this morning, I was very definitely in a quit moment. I was not connecting with the group that I was randoed with. I tried very hard to sense their patterns and to, see what it is that they were trying to do. Like this one guy, he was just running across the map. I don't think he was there for anything else but to grind out the 9-activity challenge to get the exotic engrams. So maybe they were farming exotics for whatever reasons they may have had. It didn't matter, but it was definitely costing us points. And yeah, after about 4 matches and not having won a single one of them, I was kind of like, I was not happy. I was just not depressed, but just not interested in putting in any more effort into Crucible. And which is a shame too, because Mayhem was kind of like my fallback. When Iron Banner was unsatisfying, Mayhem always put a smile on my face. And this time, Mayhem did not put a smile on my face. And it wasn't even the fact. Part of it was because I wasn't getting any bounty progression, but a lot of it also comes down to the fact that the teams that I was being put in were not making any of an effort. They were not making any kind of an effort. And I mean, I don't consider myself to be a high effort Crucible player either, but at least I do my best not to give up points. If I see a situation, somebody's weak, but they're surrounded by at least 2 other Guardians, I'm not going to chase that weak player to get the kill, because the trade would be wrong. It'd be a bad trade. That 1 point from my 1 point doesn't gain anything in the game. You're just stalling, really, honestly, at that time. And it's like, why would you want to do that? Come on. Die. I'm supposed to be getting strand kills. I don't know if I've even done any. Oh, we got all these elites now. What the fuck? Hello. You like me. I'm your friend. So yeah, it's the psychology of this game has changed quite a bit. I don't really want to point my finger at crossplay, but it is a lot of that. I mean, there is just something fundamentally different between a Microsoft player and a Sony player. There really is. And I mean, even a person who plays multiple platforms, I can tell that they're maining a Microsoft or they're maining a PlayStation account, because it's just the way they play. It's what they go for. And I don't want to generalize like that, because that's not fair to anybody. Uh, Let me see. Who was I playing with? It felt like they're both PlayStation guys. I didn't even notice that. I didn't even check that before I started this. And you heard me. I was like, this is a really good group that I was playing with. These guys were, we I don't know, what is the difference. What is the psychology, the personality difference between a Microsoft player and a Sony player? Why is it that the Sony players seem to be more interested in teamwork and sharing kills and supporting each other with resurrections and cover fire? And if you're obviously a tank, you're going to be taking on most of the targeting damage, so that the other guys can go ahead and crit the fucking boss. I don't get it. I mean, what's the change up? I don't know. I think that's going to be my rant for the day. We're almost at the 30-minute mark, and I don't want YouTube to wet themselves for me making a 30-minute video. But I think I'm going to leave it like that for now. So thanks for stopping by, hanging out. And whether you're a Microsoft player or a Sony player, just be well, play nice, share the space. Because as long as this is going to be a multiplayer game, we have to acknowledge that that person, that character, that model standing next to you is being driven by an actual human being. Hopefully, bots are in the game, um, and treat them with the same courtesy and consideration that you would treat somebody standing next to you on a subway or a bus or in line at a coffee shop. Be nice to each other. Be helpful to each other because the glory of the kill isn't as important as the team win. And that's really what it comes down to. That's what's really important. The team win. Anyway, I'm out of here. Thanks for stopping by.